Are you a Maple Leafs fan, constantly riding the emotional roller coaster of hope and heartbreak? Do you feel that familiar pang of frustration when the promise of a new season gives way to the same old playoff woes? Well, Leafs Nation, take a deep breath, because today, the curtain rises on an episode that blends hope, tension, and that special dose of raw emotion only the Leaf Army truly understands. Get ready for an avalanche of bold decisions and names that could reshape the destiny of our beloved team. Directly from Scotiabank Arena, where every corner echoes with the passion of the blue and white, breaking news arrives. Last season was marked by frustrations, injuries, and a premature playoff exit that still haunts the hearts of fans. But now, with a new coach at the helm and a spirit of reform developing behind the scenes, the Maple Leafs management is determined to erase what didn't work and rewrite the story. What once seemed like a repetitive cycle of disappointment is starting to break. General Manager Brad Treliving is once again proving he's willing to take risks, because if the Leafs want something different, they'll have to do things differently. The first move shaking the backstage of Bud's country is a strong link between the Leafs and the top remaining free agent on the market, Jack Roslovic. Now, at first glance, his name might not give goosebumps to those dreaming of superstars, but it carries valuable attributes and underrated potential. This is precisely the type of profile that seems to attract Brad Treliving. Underrated players who can deliver more than they cost. Roslovic, who scored 22 goals and collected 39 points last season, remains a versatile piece capable of playing center or wing and contributing significantly on the power play. But his real value lies in 5-on-5 play, where 21 of his 22 goals were scored, despite still playing at a high level, something Toronto has to consistently maintain. With a 54.1% face-off win rate, the best of his career, Roslovic also stands out for his consistency, even if he has never exploded as a star. He's a player who can seamlessly integrate into a lineup, providing reliable offense without needing to be the focal point. However, bringing in Roslovic means clearing cap space. Names like David Kampf, Kaye Jarnkrok, and Nick Robertson appear on the list of possible exits. Toronto wants to move Kampf's $2.4 million contract, which runs through 2027, and is carefully assessing what they could get in return for Robertson, a name we'll revisit shortly. The issue is, Roslovic is a downgrade defensively compared to Kampf, but a significant upgrade offensively, especially if he can crack the 20-goal mark again in Craig Berube's system. The fit could work, particularly if Roslovic plays on the third line and is protected by more physical and defensive players. With Austin Matthews, John Tavares, Max Domi, and Scott Lawton at center, there's no lack of versatility. What's missing? Cap space and perhaps boldness. Roslovic's arrival wouldn't be a superficial change. It would represent a shift in the team's offensive identity and offer added depth to a roster that, in several stretches of last season, looked drained of creativity. But what to do with Nick Robertson? And here we begin to cross into the territory of our second headline. A familiar figure in trade rumors, Robertson continues to be the most frequently mentioned name behind the scenes. The young prospect who so often shined in preseason and once promised to be the future of the Leafs now seems increasingly distant from fitting into the present. His trade requests have piled up, and although he recently re-signed with Toronto for 1 year at $1.825 million, everything indicates that this renewal is just a bridge to a new destination. In the cold corridors of the NHL, the name Yegor Chinakhov has surfaced strongly as a potential piece in a trade. A 24-year-old Russian winger, physically strong, defensively committed, and with an upward trajectory still in progress. Chinakhov is reportedly unhappy with the Blue Jackets, and Toronto sees in him a potential perfect fit for Berube's system. According to Elliot Friedman, the idea of a one-for-one swap, Robertson for Chinakhov, is unlikely. Columbus wants more, and maybe they're right. Chinakhov was the 21st overall pick in 2020. Despite ups and downs, he's coming off a season with 16 goals and 13 assists in 53 games. Numbers that surpass Robertson's production and suggest greater consistency. On top of that, his physical presence is notable, standing 6 feet 1 inch, weighing 205 pounds, and playing a style of hockey better suited for the demands of the playoffs. If this deal goes forward, it could solve two problems at once: the stalemate with Robertson and the lack of a defensively reliable winger in Toronto's top nine. But it all depends on what Toronto, is willing to add to the offer. A second-round pick? A mid-tier prospect? The fan base at a high level seems to agree on one thing. It's time to turn the page on Nick Robertson, and Chinakhov might be the new beginning. This isn't just a trade of players. It's a trade of potential, a bet on a different kind of upside that aligns with the team's evolving identity. Now, brace yourself, because if you thought things were already heating up, it's time to enter the third and most explosive chapter of the saga, Jake DeBrusk. Yes, him, the Leafs killer, the forward who for years tormented Toronto's defense wearing the Boston Bruins jersey, the one who once boasted in the playoff hallways, "I own Toronto." Well, now fate might place that same player in blue and white at Scotiabank Arena. According to a bold proposal floated by Heavy.com, the Leafs are reportedly interested in DeBrusk to fill the void left by Mitch Marner. The proposed deal suggests DeBrusk would head to Toronto, while a package including Brandon Carlo, Nick Robertson, and a 2027 fourth-round pick will be sent in return. DeBrusk posted 28 goals and 20 assists last season, numbers that speak for themselves. He's also known for stepping up in big moments, with 47 points in 86 playoff games. He's a born competitor. And maybe that's exactly what the Leafs need right now. Someone hungry, proven under pressure, and ready to deliver when it counts. Of course, the trade is controversial. Brandon Carlo is a trusted defenseman, and losing him would sting. But with 8 defensemen under contract and an urgent need to reinforce the wings, sacrificing Carlo may be the necessary price. Robertson, as previously discussed, is already on his way out, and a fourth-round pick is, in context, a manageable cost. The irony of seeing DeBrusk, the former villain, wearing the blue and white will be delicious, but more than poetic, it could be strategic. Toronto urgently needs to fill the gap left by Marner, and DeBrusk is one of the few available players offering immediate impact. This isn't just about talent. It's about adding a player with a proven playoff pedigree, someone who thrives when the stakes are highest. What do these three stories have in common? They show a team playing at a high level, trying to navigate short-term salary cap constraints and a partial rebuild without abandoning the ambition to win. The possible arrival of Roslovic would bring depth to the offense. The trade for Chinakhov would add youth, energy, and tactical commitment. And DeBrusk could be the game changer that finally keeps the Leafs from another early playoff exit. But what's at stake goes beyond statistics. It's the team's identity. The willingness to let go of players like Robertson and even potentially Carlo, who in other times would have been considered core pieces, shows that Treliving and Berube no longer want to live off promises. They want results. For the Leafs faithful, this means days of uncertainty, but also of immense opportunity. The Blue Army knows that great rewards require sacrifice, and maybe this is a season where risks finally turn into victories, because Big Maple can't wait any longer. The time for rehearsals is over. And with that, my friends of Leafs Nation, we close another intense and emotional chapter of our journey in Boys and Blue News. If your heart raced with these possibilities, you know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments which of these three stories you think could change the course of the Leafs' legacy. The future is being written right now, and you are part of it. See you next time. Go Leafs, go.